On Germany, obviously they're a team that kind of have everything, they're very well organised. So this is a question to Leah. Obviously they're a great footballing team, they've got a lot of experience, but they kind of do that other side of the game as well. I think they've committed the most fouls of any team in the tournament and have the most yellow cards. Kind of how prepared are you for that other side of the game and for Germany to kind of really throw everything at you tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that's the nature of any German team. That's maybe the consistent, regardless of the players that they have. Sarina says they're a physical team, and I think it's a strength for them. But I think our game is so strong, the way that we play, to combat that. So again, it'll be a good game because it's two different approaches potentially, but also we have a fight in us. It's just, it comes out a little bit differently in our style of play maybe, but it's not something to be aware of, but not something that we can't match.
Thanks, Catherine. We'll go right to the back and Phil from Press Association.
This one's for Sarina. Obviously, it wasn't that long ago that England actually played Germany. I was just wondering how relevant that Arnold Clark Cup game sort of feels at the moment in terms of taking confidence from beating Germany only in recent memory.
Yeah, at that moment that was important for us. I think now that the team that we played there was a little different. Their style of play is similar, but different players were on the pitch. But of course we take that experience with us, and also all the analysis we have of Germany from their recent games.
Thanks, Phil. We'll finish with two more questions. We'll go to Isabel at the Sun.
Hi, Sarina. Thanks so much for your time. You said there it's one England. I just wondered if you'd had a message of support from Gareth Southgate at all ahead of this final.
Yeah, absolutely. Before the tournament, during the tournament, during the season, we had some conversations already. So we catch up once in a while. So he's really, really committed with our team. He really wants us to do well.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Isabel. We'll just go behind you, and we'll finish with the gentleman just behind you there. Thank you.
Question for Coach Sarina. This tournament, which younger players, have you been the most impressed of?
Throughout the tournament? Well, that's a hard question at this moment. Like I'm now preparing for a game Germany, a final, and lots of young players have impressed in this tournament. But I don't think this is the moment to discuss lots of players. Maybe they're not even in our squad or in the German squad. No, I'm not. No. Another question, please.
Thanks very much. We'll see you tomorrow and enjoy the next 24 hours. Thank you.
Thank you.
At Sky Sports News, please.
Thank you. Sarina, Leah, lovely to see you. Here we are. Sarina, just, 10 months ago, you walked out at Wembley in your first week and you told us that you hoped you could get England to the final of the Euros. How difficult, how arduous, how much of a task has it been to get England here?
Well, we've had lots of tests. But I think we did pretty well. I think the season has been really good for us. And I think the group stage went relatively easy. Well, it looks easy. It's never easy. And, we've all seen that the Spain game was really tight and close. So that was a very exciting one, too. And Sweden looked a little easier. But we had moments in the game that we had a little hard time, but also moments that we really dominated and had a good score. So here we are now.
You've said, you just alluded to it there. You faced moments of adversity on the field. You faced moments...
Can you, please?
Of course.
Thanks.
You faced moments of adversity on the field. You faced some difficult times off the field as a group as well. Has that put you in a better place going into this final?
Yeah, it's just really good to get all these experiences. So what we're trying to do before this tournament, in the preparation, to try to figure out what can we expect on and off pitch. And if you prepare really well, then some of those situations will occur too, and then we at least can know how we could react on that and how we could take that. So I think the team has done really well, and I think we grew throughout the season, but I think we grew even more in this competition so far.
I'm going to ask you about team selection. So, look, we saw all 23 players train earlier. Can we expect any changes tomorrow?
Well, I don't want to say anything about that. Everyone is fit. We'll make hard choices. And we know how strong our squad is, that we have lots of opportunities of players to play.
Leah, you are probably one of the biggest England fans I know. You talked about your journey from going from 6 minutes of tournament football to where you are now. How have you? Again, can you even visualise how it's going to feel tomorrow when you lead England out at a packed-out Wembley?
No, none of us have been in that position before, in that team to walk out on this stage. So it'll be a new one for all of us. But I think what happens in a tournament is you grow game by game, and I think the opportunity that I've had for growth in this tournament has given me confidence. I think that tomorrow I'll be ready for whatever emotion or feelings come my way.
Don't need to tell you what it means to play in the final, but this is Germany. Germany, like, does it add a little bit more spice? Does it add almost a little bit more of a kind of fear factor going into this, considering, you know, what they bring and their mentality and all those kind of things?
I think it's a good narrative for you guys. Obviously, it's a fairy tale fixture with the history behind it. But I think for us, you would never expect to get to a final without playing the best team in the tournament. And I, you know, in terms of, I think, the journey that both of us have been on, you've got the two teams that have had the best tournaments in the final, which is the best thing. So I think this is what we expected, to come up against a team playing their best football, and luckily we're playing ours.
Sarina, is that what you agree with? Germany are the best team in the tournament?
Well, when you reach the final, then you're one of the best teams in the tournament. I think we have a very good team too, and we don't fear anyone.
Thanks, Anton. We'll go to Emma at the BBC, please. Thank you.
Hi, Leah. We've just heard from the Germany camp, and the manager said that Wembley will be English at the start of the game, but they hope it's theirs at the end. How would you respond to that?
I'd be surprised if she didn't hope that. She's going into the game with the same goal as us, but I think, 90 minutes of football will tell all, and I think that's what we're focused on, and probably what they will be too.
And in terms of the magnitude of what this would mean to you guys and to England as a country, can you put into words how you think the effect of winning tomorrow would have?
I think what we've seen in the tournament already is that, this hasn't just been a change for women's football, but society in general, how we're looked upon. And I think tomorrow is not the end of a journey, but the start of one. And I think regardless of the end result of that game, there'll be a nice moment for reflection. Naturally, it's my job to go out for 90 minutes to play and win. But I think when we look back on this tournament as a whole, we've really started something. And as I say, I think tomorrow is the start of that. I want it to be the start. I want this to be a mark for the future, not looking back on what's come before.
And Sarina, just before kick-off in the dressing room, what would be your message to the England players when they go out for the final?
I haven't told them yet. I most of the time make that up right before we start, but it will be very clear, I think.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thanks, Emma. We'll go to Azif at Forbes. Thank you.
Questions for Leah. The last captain to lift an international trophy for England now has a statue of himself outside this stadium. Have you ever stopped to think of the magnitude of what you could achieve tomorrow, or with a match to play, do you think it's just too dangerous to do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think if I stick to my processes that I've had as a footballer all my life, and especially in the last couple of years, it would be silly of me to look any further ahead than the 90 minutes. But yeah, tomorrow is a day of opportunity, I think, is the main thing. That's the only thing that makes it any different to any other game, that the stakes are that much higher, but this is what we all live for, and this is why I play football.
And also, Georgia Stanway told us yesterday that you haven't been able to see members of your family for over 6 weeks. How difficult has it been for you to not be able to hug your family, and what will it mean to you to see your mum tomorrow night after everything she's done for you in your career?
Yeah, I think that's it's a nice feeling knowing that tomorrow, regardless of what happens, we return home, and that's been obviously a difficult thing for most people, but this is our job, and we looked each other in the eye and decided that sacrifice would be worth it if we made it so. And I think we've done that with our journey, and tomorrow is one final push to come and achieve what we wanted to achieve, because without that, yeah. But I think, yeah, the sacrifice of not seeing your family for 6 weeks with what's on the line, will be all worth it tomorrow.
Thanks, Asif.
Yeah, hi, thanks. Tom Genoy, Deutsche Welle. As I'm sure you're both aware...
Yeah,
of course. Thank you. I'm sure you're both aware if all of the seats that are available tomorrow night are full, the game could break the attendance record for any match in the history of the Euros, men's or women's. Is that something that occupies your thoughts much? How much are you looking forward to playing on that stage? And if you maybe think back a couple of years, if somebody had said that to you a couple of years ago, that you'd be heading into a home Euros final here at Wembley with that record up for grabs, how do you think you would have reacted to that information even a couple of years ago?
Who are you asking the question to?
I'm asking both of you, so if it's okay to get a response from both of you, that would be fantastic.
Do you want to go first?
Well, a couple of years ago, I didn't think about that. So it's really nice. And you don't start playing football or start coaching with the things, well, I want to be a coach for 90,000 people. You just start doing the job because you love football, you love your work. But it's just really nice now. We're having that occasion tomorrow. And at the end, it's just the game we're going to play. And yes, it's the final, but we approach it as we do with every other game.
I think, this has obviously felt unachievable for a very long time. The people that have come before me that have had to fight, especially in this country, we're hosting it. It's at Wembley. It's not just 90,000 people. This is hopefully 90,000 England fans and that are now behind the team that didn't have the opportunity to before. So I think that's a nice reflection moment tomorrow, that there'll be so many people filling that stadium with an interest in women's football that have the opportunity to watch it because it's been made available. Because, not so long ago that wasn't the case, and I think that's probably one of the nicest things to reflect on.
Thanks very much. We'll go to Molly at the Times, please, just along the row there. Thank you.
Hi, Leah. We've talked all through the tournament about the kind of home advantage, but particularly here at Wembley, how good is it that the players are used to this environment? And I suppose it's one of the things that the finals knew, but in a way Wembley isn't.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody ever has a home game where they don't have an advantage because naturally there'll be more people here for us tomorrow than there will be for Germany, and this is our national stadium. So we've played here a couple of times, which has put us in good stead. It's familiar to us. So it's definitely an advantage, and the support that we've had from those people that will fill the seats has been incredible so far. So it's an exciting thought that tomorrow we have that on our side,
And for you, Sarina, I know you've been in this position in finals with other teams. I suppose, how different does this feel? And does it feel bigger in terms of expectation and pressure that maybe those places have before?
Yeah, well, I don't have my thoughts on that. I have my thoughts on the game, and I have my thoughts on our team and how we want to play and how we want to approach this game. We've analysed Germany. And then we make a plan together with the technical staff, and then we start training again and have talk to players, train, and get ready for the game. That's mainly what my focus is on. So, ask me the question tomorrow.
Do you think you'll only reflect on how big it is after the game?
Yeah, probably after the game, not now. Oh, I know it's big. I'm not stupid. I see things happening, and it's really incredible. I really enjoy that too, of course. But then, you see it, you're aware of it, and then you come back to what your job is, and that's getting ready for Germany.
Thanks, Molly. We'll go to Neil Moxley on the front row. Thanks.
Hi, Sarina. English football history, the men's, is littered with penalty heartache. I'm just wondering what precautions or work you've done should it come to that. Should it come to that eventuality tomorrow?
Yeah, you've asked me the question before, didn't you? We have practiced penalties. We're prepared for everything. So if that would happen tomorrow, we're prepared.
But you haven't done anything extraordinary for it, different or anything at all?
No, nothing
Fine.
different.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to do different things all of a sudden.
No, second question. Martina said that the pressure is on England tomorrow. Do you accept that, or is that a bit unfair?
Did she also say why?
Well, I think the pressure of expectation of 90,000 people, the majority of whom will be supporting England, probably speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think the pressure on both. We both want to win the final, and we both have a very good squad, and I think it's going to be a very tight game. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. We don't feel more or less pressure. It's just a game. It's a very exciting game with two very good teams who both want to win.
Thank you.
Thanks, Neil. We'll just go back to David.
Hi, Leah. Sorry. You mentioned earlier about it not just being a change in terms of women's football, but society wide, more widely speaking. I think probably we understand what you're getting at, but could you expand on that a little bit in your own words? How your experience of that's been in the last few weeks?
Yeah, I think I've only ever been involved in this workplace in football, but I think in most workplaces across the world, women still have a few more battles to face and to try and overcome. And I think that for every success that we make and for every change of judgment or perception or opening the eyes of somebody who views women as somebody with the potential to be equal to her male counterpart, I think that makes change in society. And I think that that's a powerful message that we have the power to, in a typically male-dominated environment, these strides that we take forward can impact everybody, on that wider scale. Thank you.
Thanks very much. We'll go to Paul at UEFA.
Thanks very much. For Sarina, question for you. You said after the semi-final you were hoping to sort of be in a bunker and sort of get yourself away from all the hype around. You said you just wanted to try and have. How successful have you been in keeping the build-up to this game like the build-up to any other game, despite the fact it isn't any other game?
I think it has been really calm around the team. I think that worked really well. So we went just back to the Wembley where we stay and did the training sessions again, did recovery there, did the things we have to do to get prepared for tomorrow. So pretty calm, yeah.
Thanks, Paul. Next three questions will go to Tom at the Telegraph, gentleman at the back, and then Ian at the Mail. Begin with Tom. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi both. Thanks for your time. Leah, I don't know if you're aware of this, but tomorrow is exactly 10 years to the day since Team GB beat Brazil in this very same stadium. And I wondered if you'd mind telling us your memories of maybe watching that as a fan, and also kind of how significant was that in leading to a day like tomorrow happening with a sold-out crowd here? Because a lot of people have talked about that as a watershed moment, but I'm just wondering what it's like for you.
Yeah, obviously I was in the crowd that day. Another amazing opportunity for me that my parents sort of facilitated to put women's football in front of my face, convinced me at least that it was the norm at the time. And I think, tomorrow will be another moment like that. It's incredible that happened. And I think the fall off since that, we hope that's not what happens after this tournament. I think that's the main thing about tomorrow, that everybody that's got on board stays with us. We can't have a lack of interest post this tournament because it defeats the objective of everything we've achieved throughout these last 6 weeks.
Sorry, just to check on that, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but is that the main thing about tomorrow? Because some people would say, isn't the main thing about tomorrow winning and beating Germany?
100% for us. This is my job. I've come here to win that game tomorrow as I approach every single other game. I think for the wider, it's definitely not the most important thing, but it's something, of course, I want that. I fight every single day for us as women's footballers. That won't change tomorrow. It just means I'll still do my job the same as every other time. But I do think that it's important for that message to come across as well.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Go to the back row. Yeah, perfect.
Hello. Question for the French media, France Info. It will be
put down your mask.
It will be fantastic for you to reach something in the place where men's didn't reach last year for the football, for the women's football.
Oh, I don't think we should compare men and women. I think it's just one England, and everyone who was there last year just really cheered for the England team, and that will be tomorrow too. So I don't think that's any different.
And for you, and for you?
Yeah, I think the same. I supported the guys last year. I loved every single second of their journey, and they've done the same with us. So I'm sure they'll be supporting us tomorrow regardless.
Thanks very much. We'll go to the front, and Ian Herbert at the Mail, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarina. Thanks for your time. Are you aware of the history with England and Germany as a sort of a sporting rivalry? And so are you aware of that from the past? And do you think that being Dutch rather than English, that might help you to almost like neutralise some of that and help us all to feel a bit less anxious about that rivalry?
Yeah, well, I know there's some rivalry. I think when the Netherlands plays Germany, there's some rivalry too. But now it's now. We play Germany, very good squad, and who would play against, there would be rivalry because it's the final, and we really want to win that final. So yeah, we'll just approach it again as every other game.
Thanks, Ian. We'll go to Susie at The Guardian next, please.
Hi both, one for Leah. How do you balance staying calm and blocking out the noise whilst also making sure you enjoy the moment and that you don't look back on it and think, I wasn't there enough?
Yeah, I think that comes from experience. There's been times in my career where I've definitely done that, looked back on it and thought, what a wasted, even when I've won, I've felt like I've lost because I haven't enjoyed that moment. I think the environment that we've created around the team is one that's free enough to be able to enjoy the moments as much as possible and take it all in and soak it all up. And you see that with the way we interact with the fans. I've said this before, why should we not enjoy these moments? This is why we work so hard. But I think, ahead of a football game, especially in the lead up to one, it's more focused, and that calmness, that composure is more necessary. But I think the only way you can ever sort of learn that is from experience and maybe getting it wrong before.
And then obviously you've got a fantastic record under Sarina, but in this tournament, everything has sort of gone to plan. All the changes have made a difference. The comeback against Spain, the first 30 minutes against Sweden, you've overcome all those obstacles. How much does that strengthen the relationship between you as a group with Sarina as a manager and the confidence that you have in, the decisions that are being made and the decisions the coaching staff generally?
Yeah, I think obviously, fortunately for us, everything that we've done has paid off, and I think it's an indication of what we've built behind the scenes, the stuff that you guys don't see on a daily basis, and the relationship that we've built up in the past year especially. But I think that's football. It presents these challenges to you, and whether you come out of the other side or not together is the most important thing, and I think that's all going to in our favour this tournament.
Thanks both, good luck.
Thanks, Susie. Next three questions will go to NOS at the end of the row, Catherine from the Mail and Phil from Press Association. Begin with NOS, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, Sarina.
Hi.
England and Germany play very different styles of football. What kind of game do you expect tomorrow, and where do you see the weaknesses of the Germans?
Yeah, I think at some points it might be a little physical. Germany has they can play very direct, physical, straightforward. So that's what we expect. We did see some things that we might want to exploit, but we'll see that tomorrow.
Thank you. We'll go to Catherine at the Mail, just along the row. Thank you.